The brain. So damn complicated, but let's face it, if your body was a chessboard, the brain would be the king and queen put together. Everything else are mere pawns. Okay, maybe a rook, a bishop, or a knight. Now, there was a super fascinating study from the emerging field of sports neuroscience. It was done by a group in the UK. The title of the paper was Prior Brain Training Improves Endurance Performance. Now, according to the paper, mental fatigue impairs endurance exercise performance, and that brain endurance training itself describes the systematic repetition of mentally fatiguing cognitive tasks designed to build resilience to mental fatigue and therefore improve performance. Now, here's what they did in this investigation. They got 24 participants, 13 were women, 11 were men, and they were basically your healthy undergraduate college students. They were averaging about 20 years of age, sort of your typical test subjects that you see at a lot of these universities. During the pre-test and post-testing sessions, they had research participants perform a 5-minute rhythmic hand grip task that required the generation of as much force as possible, a 20-minute two-back working memory task, and another 5-minute rhythmic hand grip task. So the task or the endurance test itself is using a hand grip dynamometer. So both groups completed the same sub-maximal rhythmic hand grip training for the duration of 5 weeks, with 4 training sessions per week. So the physical task itself required that participants squeeze the hand grip dynamometer once per second at approximately 30% of their MVC or maximal voluntary contraction until they reach some predetermined cumulative force production target. So let me repeat that. The physical task itself required that they squeeze a hand grip dynamometer, well, that's a tough one to say, once per second at approximately 30% of their maximal voluntary contraction until they reach some predetermined cumulative force production target. In addition, the brain training group also completed a 20-minute cognitive training task that consisted of what was called the two-back working memory task and the incongruent color word Stroop task before each submaximal exercise training session. So what were the results? Well, interestingly, endurance performance improved significantly more following brain training. And in fact, it was enhanced by 24% compared to just 12% with physical training alone. In fact, compared to the control group, the brain endurance training group showed higher prefrontal oxygenation during the post-exercise task. Both groups were also characterized by the same exertion, motivation, heart rate, and heart rate variability. Now, the results actually, they're pretty cool, but they're kind of limited, and here's why. First of all, nobody's ever won a gold medal for the best hand grip. You know what I mean? It would be interesting to see if this applied to a real sport, such as running, swimming, cycling, rowing, paddling, you name it. A sport where you actually have to compete against other people. But you might ask, why do scientists choose these kinds of exercises when they do these kinds of studies? Well, the simple answer is it's because it's easy and it doesn't really require much skill. And let's face it, it's not even really that painful. Imagine doing brain training and asking someone to run at maximal speed for a mile, try to set a PR for the mile. You're going to have a hard time getting test subjects for that study. Either way, it does make sense that if you train your brain, it can and should increase your threshold for withstanding physical exertion and mental fatigue.